I love to think that Jeff Bezos is out there just like, yeah, I love the Infinity Bros.
Yeah, these guys.
I love what those guys are doing out there in the Midwest.
These guys deserve it. Yeah.
Those guys have been grinding for years. They're really not that good, but let's just send it to them anyway.
Hello and welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlin. I am your host tonight, and I have one other Infinity Bro with me. It is my fellow co-host and good friend, Max Mosier. How you doing, Max?
When I was a boy, I imagined being on the Infinity Bros podcast. I'm good. Really good.
Impression. I love it.
That's a terrible impression, but I don't care. I am
When
happy
I was
to
a
be
boy.
here. When I was a boy. Grateful to be here. Thanks for checking us out. Glad to be reviewing this episode. And just pumped. It's going to be a great episode.
Gonna be a great episode. And if you want more from the Infinity Bros, you can check out our Patreon. Click the link in the show notes where we talk about Max's journey with his kids through Star Wars. We talk about life. What else did we talk about? I don't even remember. It was a slew of random crap that we talked about.
Fun things that you
Fun
should pay
things.
to listen to.
If you want to hear a bunch of guys just hanging out, that's what our Patreon episodes are like. We just chill. We just hang out. $2 a month is the minimum you can pay. Just a tiny bit to support us. We would love it if you would check it out. Click on the link in the show notes. If you've never listened to the Infinity Bros podcast before, welcome. We're a group of guys that just hang out and talk pop culture. We talk Star Wars. We talk Marvel. We're going to be talking Marvel today, Daredevil Born Again. But yeah, anything that kind of tickles our fancy in pop culture, film, TV, video games, we're on it, talking about it, having fun, because that's what we do on the Infinity Bros podcast. We also have a special rating system that you might hear a little bit later.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an infinity step.
And today we are going to be talking all things Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 just finished up this week. And it was almost like an emergency podcasting session. We don't normally record on Thursday nights, but I was like, guys, we got to talk about this or Maul Shadow Lord, because that also finished up this week. And Zane is my Star Wars guy. He couldn't do tonight. So we're doing Daredevil Born Again with Max, because Max and I have been really, really enjoying this show. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, make sure you check those links in the show notes as well. We reviewed the premiere episode 2 to 4 and then 5 to 6 on the last one. So we're going to be talking about 7 and 8 a little bit tonight, and then just the whole show in general. We'll do a little non-spoilery stuff for you guys who may have not caught the finale, but you should, because holy crap, it was a doozy. Max, would you give us just a little non-spoiler tease of what you thought of Daredevil Born Again season 2 and like how it wrapped things up?
I thought this was a tremendous season. I know it has a very high Rotten Tomatoes score. My understanding is that it has a 95% critic score and a 96% audience approval rating for season 2 at the moment. That to me sounds like it's going to hold, and that parallels my view of this season. I've been on record the last few episodes, especially episodes 5 and 6, of saying 2 of the best episodes of the series, much less this season. Episode 5 is still my favorite episode. I haven't changed that. In the history of Daredevil, it's still my favorite episode. This episode did not disappoint. I thought it was a strong ending, sets a great foundation for season 3, gives options for where they want to go, has surprising cameos, 2 cameos that were surprising to me, and also just a classic Kingpin versus Murdock, face off. And when those two are going at it in whatever sphere they're going at it, it is always fun. And I've appreciated this season how the writers and directors found unique ways to do this in new ways that they hadn't done before. My rating of the finale of season 2 of Daredevil Born Again is a 5.75. I think it was a great episode. This is a strong season, and I'm really, really grateful for the ride. I cannot wait for season 3.
Daredevil Born Again season 2 was a return to form. We've mentioned that on quite a few episodes of our reviews. Season 1 just felt so different and discombobulated from coming off of, Netflix Daredevil, that it almost seemed like, and I think they actually were going for a different version of Daredevil. Like I think initially they were like, this is not the same Daredevil that is in Netflix Daredevil. And that's kind of Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. We've been saying it. These guys, they put their foot down and they advocated for what they thought was right for their characters. And I'm so glad they did, because season 2 was so much more cohesive. The pacing was so much better. I mean, everything about season 2 was just an upgrade from season 1. And I agree with you that I thought it finished very well. There were some fun moments in the last couple episodes that really just capped off this season in such a satisfying way. And after last season, we needed that. We needed a good, satisfying ending. So yeah, I'm pumped about this season. And I would rate it about the same as you. I'd say the last 2 episodes, both 5.5 out of 6. And then I'd give the whole season a 5.5 out of 6 as well. Like, we'll talk about it at the end, but like, I think there's only 1 or 2 seasons of Marvel television that I would even rank higher than this. Like, it's a great season of television. So
Yeah, my rating of the season is the same, Isaac. I give it a 5.75 out of 6. And I think all these Marvel shows, ironically, do hinge on how their finales go. This
yeah,
one's no
true.
exception. Thought it was strong. I thought it could have done some things better, but not a ton. And I
Right.
think that's really high praise to your credit on what is going on in the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with television.
All right. So we're going to get into spoilers here. If you have not watched the finale, make sure you pause this, come back later when you've watched it. Here's the official spoiler warning for Daredevil Born Again finale and the rest of the season recap.
This is
Prepare yourself.
an Infinity Bros
Prepare yourself.
spoiler warning.
All right. So I don't think we need to break it down scene by scene or anything like that, but last 2 episodes, Max, is there anything that you want to start with right off the bat?
No, I think where we left off was episode 6. So then this gets into episode 7, which was Jessica Jones's return and her essentially joining the courtroom with Matt Murdock. And we also get Poindexter saving the governor, which was a massive deal.
That was wild. Yeah.
And so I think just if you know what it felt like when Matt Murdock came back into the court to defend Karen Page, it felt like She-Hulk. A lot of people
Yeah.
are going to hear
Mhm.
that and get upset. Not me.
That's a
I
great
loved
thing. That's a great
She-Hulk.
thing. She-Hulk
I
was
loved
great.
She. It was like weird. It's like, how does a character like that have a cameo in his own show? But it felt like that.
Mhm.
It
It
felt
really
very
did.
odd, and it was such a cool twist, if it's even calling it that. That
Mhm.
he was like, no, we're gonna win this by me being vulnerable and open
Right.
about what's going on. And obviously that bleeds into this episode, which is where we get the face off of him and Kingpin in court, which has never been done to this point.
Wild.
They've had all sorts of confrontations. They've had fights where things have been blowing up. They've cut each other up. They've punched each other to death. Wilson Fisk has beaten him up to the point of almost death. He's beaten up Wilson Fisk to the point of almost death.
Wilson Fisk has known his identity for a long time.
A very long time. And the other thing they did this season and at the end of season 1 was Kingpin would whisper because he knew that Daredevil could hear it.
Yeah, they had a really cool moment in that.
Yeah.
I think it was the finale with that.
Yep, it was the finale.
Yeah, when he was like behind the closed door with the judges and Fisk was out on the witness stand. Whew. There was some really cool moments.
I think it's really great. And I D'Onofrio is just so perfect as this character. He's the 6s of 6s.
Oh, he's so good.
Charlie Cox is 6 out of 6. Karen Page is 6 out of 6. Jessica Jones Kristen Ritter. I was listening to her on the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, and she says her favorite character is Jessica Jones. And that to me, and it just shows. It shows in this show. We joked early on in this season that she's going to be in 7 episodes, then she ended up only being in a couple. And she fit right back into the outfit, figuratively, but also literally. And this show finally did what the original Daredevil shows. A lot of people romanticize those Daredevil shows from the first 3 seasons. They were good, but it did always bother me in those shows how there wasn't more Defender tie-in, especially after how the Defenders ended.
True.
I always wondered how, when the Defenders ended, Matt went underground. How, when everything started rising back up with Kingpin, did the other 3 not enter the picture? There was never an explanation for it. There was never a phone call. There was never one episode where the 3 of them stop by and go, "You need us," and he's like, "No, get out of my way," which would have been great and made a complete sense. Like, Netflix gets a lot more credit for that than they deserve. And I thought this show and this season took care of that problem that I've always had with this show. And so this was no exception here. Really, at the core of this show is this big illustration of the city versus Fisk. And you get this big set piece scene where they're in the Capitol building. Fisk is standing up top after he just had his own hallway scene. We'll talk about that in a second, but how he is looking onto the crowd and is telling them, "I've been fighting for you." And they're like, "No, you haven't." That's a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
When the villain legit believes that what they're doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very small part of you that kind of gets what they're saying.
Right.
I kind of get what he's saying.
Bullseye was the same earlier this season too. He fully believed what he was doing was like the right thing to do. And oh man, both of those guys are just so like stinking good. Greatest villains that we've had in Marvel TV for sure. I'd say you could even throw them up against the MCU villains as well. Like they're top tier villains.
And the big fight at the end is what everyone's going to talk about. But where this episode is special is the courtroom scene. And it's finally them
so
duking
good
it out.
To get him back in the courtroom again.
And it was so Matt Murdock. It was so Daredevil to say, "We're going to do this by the book." To the point that I'm going to bring everything in front of you. I'm going to sacrifice my own identity, knowing full well, I've heard a lot of people complain, "Oh, Wilson Fisk killed people in the hallway. Oh, he's killed so many people. How come he's not going to jail?" That's the point. That's the whole point of that's the whole point of all of this. It's why Matt did what he did. Because even when he put Wilson Fisk behind bars, he still gets out. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The world, this universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe now has a perfectly corrupt New York to parallel with Spider-Man. This is what it's needed to be. Yeah. And this is why the first season we griped about the Thunderbolts connection, because it felt like Thunderbolts didn't even reference it and it needed at least a reference. And I'm still disappointed about that, but I just think these were the decisions that naturally took place. I heard people saying these were filler episodes. I did not feel there was a single filler episode here. I felt like the end of episode 7 with Buck killing Daniel was just perfect.
Yeah.
I felt like that was because we had always wondered what's this character's play. And the character ended up just like Uric. He ended up just like everybody else along the way. Foggy, Vanessa. He just was damaged goods and was collateral damage in this big war. And for Matt Murdock to come to the understanding that this war is not ending unless one of us steps down was poetic. And I paralleled this with Batman and Joker, and I think this is Gen Z's Batman and Joker. Bullseye couldn't stop it. He tried, he couldn't stop it. Jessica Jones couldn't stop it. All these characters who are very big set piece characters couldn't stop it. And for Matt to turn himself in at the end, this carries over with that episode 5. This season, the word for this season is mercy.
Oh, gets me right there.
To the point where Matt is pulling people off of Fisk because they're killing him.
Oh, yeah. On that note, I fully thought when Fisk kept fighting up on that balcony, I was like, Fisk is going to die here. The people are going to kill him, throw him over the edge of the balcony or something like that. And that's how we finally end this like Fisk thing. Because We've had Fisk for 5 seasons. Vincent D'Onofrio,
You've had him for 5 seasons plus Hawkeye plus Echo.
true, plus some extras, right? But Vincent D'Onofrio is a perfect casting for Fisk. Like, I don't really want to see anybody as Fisk past him. So you got a dilemma here. Marvel loves killing off their villains, but also the perfectly casted villain. Do you really want to kill him off? Like, what do you want to do? And they found this like perfect middle ground of like banishing him or exiling him from the place that he wants to be, New York City. And I thought that was just a perfect ending. Like right away, I was like, dang, Fisk gets to live? Come on. After all that. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that's a perfect ending. Yes, we could see him again, and I would be totally fine with that. But at the end of the day, what else could happen that is more poetic, like you were saying, and satisfying than Fisk not being able to be a part of the city that he says and probably thinks that he's fighting for?
No, this was about mayor versus lawyer. This wasn't about
Mm.
Daredevil versus Kingpin. This was about the ethical dilemma at stake. This was, can somebody actually come in and just take over this city? And the city actually saying, no, that actually isn't going to work. And it ironically shows how justice should work. Granted, Fisk did not get put behind bars, but that's the world we live in too. And that's the harsh reality of this show, is it really does put a light on like how things are in the real world. There still is going to be corruption. The good guys still, because they refuse to do the bad things, will not be spared. And Matt Murdock this season represents a Catholic faith better than any of the other seasons.
Hmm.
And Netflix did a great job. Obviously, they put a lot of set pieces in these cathedrals, but I feel that this season really showed his colors and his faith without him talking about it. It felt like the previous scenes were saying, oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm a Christian. And then this season was his epiphany of, nope, I am a believer and I will choose mercy. I will choose the path of mercy, even if it's for Fisk. To the point where him and Karen are confronting about it. To the point he's got Jessica Jones pulling people off of him, who is the least ethical person of all the heroes in maybe this whole universe. Like, she does not care who dies. She has zero stake in the game. And he made her care after she had all the stuff happen to her. So my issue with this season and this show is very minor, but the big one is I think Heather Glenn was a miss. Lady Muse was just not, it didn't work for me. I didn't like her and Karen's spars. Like, people were like, oh, it's so deep and they both love Matt. And I was just like, it felt kind of written to like scratch an itch that some writers had, and like a weird, it felt kind of like gross. I don't know how to like PG-13 say that. It just didn't feel good. It felt odd. Her characters made no sense to me. I don't know if Buck died. I didn't like that.
That was
that
weird.
bothered me. That
Right?
bothered me. Like, it felt like I'm assuming he did based
right.
off of her
That
decision
was
to do
my
that.
thought, was like, I'm assuming he did, because that was kind of like the turn of like her putting on the Muse mask, like the final
Right.
straw or whatever. But like, why wouldn't it show that to like kind of complete that arc or
We
whatever?
could have added
you
10
know?
seconds of her looking
Yeah.
at a grave.
Right.
This isn't
Yeah.
hard. I just think that character on the season as a whole is a miss. I think it's too
I
much.
agree with that.
I don't think they needed to set anything up for next season. I think Poindexter going with
Ooh,
Mr. Charles
yeah.
wherever he's going is its own story. And that is enough for me to go, what the heck? I also thought White Tiger was a miss. I did not think it was good. I get the character's uncle in the first season. I don't think we needed her in the second season. And so I thought it was kind of cringe in the hallway fight when she jumped off the wall out of nowhere. I was like, oh, you're here too. Like,
Yeah.
I have been building up all
Right.
season, and frankly, for 5 seasons, to see Daredevil and Jessica Jones come face to face with Fisk. That felt like Marvel's like, and we've got White Tiger. And I'm like, oh, dude, we don't need this. We just don't need this. I already have Fisk literally breaking people's backs. And then I've got Daredevil and Jessica Jones working together, which is all I want to see again. I just want to see those defenders reunite. And the people do, by the way. It's evidenced in how it's being discussed online in the ratings of this. Yes, I felt like that was just kind of in there, but I really loved, Isaac, how they brought back all the obscure, like they brought back the reporter who Urich worked with, and he
Yeah.
hired BB. They brought back,
Jade.
yeah, I loved
From
that. I loved that
I
they
like
brought
saw that.
back
I was like,
they
there
brought
he
back
is.
all the
That
cops
was
that
cool.
worked with them in the previous season. I
Yep.
really loved that. And I think the future of this show is so bright. I feel like it's clear where the direction is. And that is the opposite of a year or 2 years ago whenever season 1 came out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. End of season 1. Oh man, we were livid at that ending of season 1.
I was furious.
Yeah. To come back to this, wow, what a turnaround. Like they did an incredible job on the season.
And I think you're right. I think Kevin Feige or whoever was in charge creatively made the tough choice of saying, we're going to retcon season 1, which was trying to retcon all of it. Like they retconceptioned it. I think that's just how this worked. I think they legit in that first season were like, we're going to go a different way with it. And then they saw the blowback, they saw the previs, and they're like, oh, this ain't it. They ended it, and they literally probably, I think they crawled back to the other defenders and said, we got to use you guys. We need you.
Right.
And we'll bite the bullet on Danny Rand and we'll figure out how to make him good. But like, but it's so clear in how I responded to this season that they're going the right way, because I'm so pumped for season 3.
Getting that Luke Cage cameo at the end, that was just
Isaac,
just what we needed.
I'm the biggest Luke Cage
good.
fan on this show. Nobody likes Luke Cage more than me on this show. I'm owning that. I'm taking it. I am such a Luke Cage shill. I think Danny Rand is a great character in the comics. And I think now that we have a real great Shang-Chi character representing a different corner of the world for that dichotomy, this is so easy to me. Get these Secret War movies made, get Danny Rand in this universe, and let's get Danny Rand into a Shang-Chi movie. Right. There's your connection to Daredevil.
And an actor like Simu Liu could absolutely elevate Finn Jones. They could be great together. I think
the Defenders working alongside Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. I think Danny Rand, there's a line where he takes over Matt's moniker, as the Daredevil. I think that could be a really fun season 3 thing where it's like Daredevil's back, but then it's Danny Rand.
That would be cool.
I think there's a lot of great opportunities here. And yeah, Luke Cage coming back was so emotional for me, Isaac. It was so emotional. It
just
felt
sobbing
like a
in
return
his
to
basement.
form. I was so thankful. And
it was good.
I'm glad they saved it. Like in hindsight, I was like, how come they just don't have him now? But now I'm like, nope, makes complete sense.
No, that was perfect. Would have been nice to have something like that at the end of season 1,
which is exactly what we said. And I think they heard us. I think they heard us. I really, really do. And I'll say this too, Danny Rand coming back. I cannot wait. And I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Like, so weird for me to even be thinking that way.
That is interesting. Yeah. You're saying Danny Rand and not Finn Jones though. So
I think it's Finn Jones.
No, it will be Finn Jones. Like it's definitely going to be, but you keep saying Danny Rand.
Well, if Finn Jones messes this up, it's on him. You're never going to get it like in Hollywood. Fair. Much less
I'm glad
Marvel,
he's getting another shot because I truly don't think it was his fault. Like the Iron Fist show, I don't think it was his fault.
Matt going to his cell with Radiohead again. By the way, great song, awesome song choice to end the season. Right.
Passing all of the ATVF guys that are in jail as well.
Yeah, and that'll be a season 3 line right out the gate. He is more secure, safe, and free than Fisk, who is over by the beach. Yeah. And that is, to me, tremendous writing. There wasn't a word said to understand that. I just knew. That is what makes Daredevil separate from other TV shows. And that's what separates Daredevil as a hero in the Marvel universe.
This is what's confusing people is you see the beach, you see like this tropical setting, and you're like, oh, he's free. But then you see Vincent D'Onofrio's face. He's not free. He would have rather stayed in jail in New York than be on whatever beach this is. This is exactly what he didn't want to happen. I love it.
Everyone got the ending they deserve. That is great writing. I mean, Bullseye could be in a Dark Avenger in the future. I mean, like I've heard people kind of say Mr. Charles is building something like that. The AVTF is gone already for So I'll be really interested to see how Punisher goes now, because like
Yeah,
basically all the
that's
things I
another
was
one.
kind of excited for Punisher for are like
That
off the
special
table now. So I'm like,
presentation's
"Alright."
coming out next week already.
I know we're gonna
So
have to watch that soon. So
yeah,
I think just that gets a little more convoluted. And Spider-Man, I mean, obviously Spider-Man's in the jail in the trailer fighting the
fighting the
Hand.
Hand.
Is he fighting the Hand protecting Matt, or is it something else? I don't know if I don't think it's Daredevil. A lot of people think Daredevil's in Spider-Man. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't.
Really?
I don't.
Hmm.
I don't think they need it. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. And
I just don't.
I wouldn't be mad.
Why would you bring the Hand into the movie if Daredevil, like, even if he doesn't play a big part, I'm fine with that. I feel like the Hand has to be involved in a Daredevil centric storyline, though. I don't see why else you would bring them into a Spider-Man movie. But we'll see
And
in a couple of months.
what does the Hand coming back mean is a bigger question too.
Hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
this is the question I was going to ask you, Isaac. Do you think this show needs to have Fisk next season back in it?
That's a good question. I want him back in it because Vincent D'Onofrio has been absolutely killing it once again. But I honestly don't think it needs Fisk.
Because if you got all the Defenders coming back, is it the Hand then? Is that the reason
Yeah,
Spider-Man's in this?
Could be. I don't know. It's hard too because like they start right out of the gate in season 1 of Daredevil with Fisk, and he's like the pinnacle villain for Daredevil. So like I guess I don't know where you go from there. I don't think they need him because the storytelling did such a great job this season. If they keep the same team on, I feel like they don't need him, but I don't know where you go from here without him. So I'm not really sure. Either way, I'm actually okay with it because I
Yeah.
loved his ending in this, but at the same time, he's such a great actor and he's so great as Fisk. So
Yeah,
I'm okay with
I
both
think
of them.
it's time for Fisk and Matt to take a break. I think with Defenders being in the picture, you could go Children of Purple Man with it. I'm pretty sure Charlie Cox actually quoted that. So I don't know if
I can
that was
see
a
that.
slip up or if that was just him being like, this would be kind of cool. I think the Children of Purple Man's a great way to go now. And that would be a great way to introduce a bigger hero into this universe, or have a Avenger level threat in this universe where they got to take down an Avengers level threat. Like, I don't even know who I'd think about who'd be around there. Maybe it's the
That's
Thunderbolts
the
or
question
something.
too. And
Yeah.
the Defenders are a more, New York City street level type team. So it's like I don't even know who you really throw in there.
I want a World War Hulk movie so bad, Isaac.
Gosh, dude, that would be
I'm hoping like after this Secret Wars thing, they find a way to make that happen, because I want what Man of Steel did to Metropolis to happen in New York with a World War Hulk movie, and I want all these cats in it. I want them all. I
that
want
would be
everybody.
wild. Oh my gosh.
I want Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Danny Rand. I want Wilson Fisk. Like I think there's so many great lines that they could do. I mean, Ghost Rider. I mean, you could do the Midnight Suns arcs. I think there's some really cool stuff here. Again, when the shows were around in Netflix, and I'm gonna kind of beat up on Netflix a little bit, which is weird. Netflix really couldn't connect to the Marvel universe, in my opinion.
No, I think they had a really great job. They did a really great job making those individual shows and then using them in Daredevil. Yeah. But you're right. Like the individual shows didn't do a great job of like interconnecting that universe or whatever you want to call it.
No. They had moments where they connected, but I'm saying the Marvel Cinematic Universe did not work in that. I now feel like these two seasons, season 1 was essentially a filler season, but it naturally has guided this show back into the MCU. And I am great. So like, in my opinion now, in hindsight, season 1 was worth it.
Yeah. True.
That Gong Show was worth it. And call it Kevin Feige pivoting, call it Cox and D'Onofrio changing the plan, call it this was the plan all along and we didn't even know, and they were slow burning it. I don't know. But this is so good. The critics are agreeing with us. We have really high ratings of this show. I am super thrilled and can't wait for season 3. And I don't know when does this show's got another. I mean, these guys are now staples in this.
Yeah.
They're here for the long haul now.
I think they always wanted to be, but it's finally like, official now. But
yeah, but I don't think they can fit into Secret Wars, but maybe there's a chance they do.
That's a great question.
I don't think
this stuff would have been Daredevil Born Again was that 2 years ago or was that last year? That was last year. So, I mean, technically they probably are not involved in Secret Wars like Doomsday specifically, but like they're early enough in universe to technically be involved in that if they so choose. But there's going to be so many characters in that. I don't know if you even want to involve everybody in it. So I don't know. We'll see. But would I love to see them in it? Sure. Yeah. They're great. I want to push back a little bit. You haven't said anything about it. We talked about it a little bit last episode. I wasn't a huge fan of Jessica Jones' arc in this season. It just
I get
seemed
that.
like she was there literally to sit in the courtroom that one time and be like, I know Daredevil. And that was it. She fought with him a couple times. Cool fight scenes. I'm not complaining about Kristen Ritter and Jessica Jones, but it just seemed like they could have given her a little bit more to do than just like be there for that moment. So I'm more annoyed than anything else that she wasn't in more episodes and playing a bigger role, I guess.
My pushback, yes, arc wise, I don't disagree. My pushback is what one of my prerequisites of a Marvel show and or movie is you have to have a connection to something else. That's what separates Marvel from everything else.
That's fair. And I loved that she was in it, but it seemed like they built her up like, oh my gosh, big reveal. And then it just kind of was a little flat, in my opinion.
And this was them slow rolling what's coming with the other two.
That's probably fair. Yeah. But on the other hand, the Luke Cage cameo,
unbelievable.
Perfect.
I mean,
no
they're
notes on that
they
one.
did it so perfectly. The girl, all she yells is daddy. And it's, we already know.
We
knew based off of essentially her skin color when we saw her that it was Luke Cage's daughter. But like, it was the confirmation. And I was kind of looking behind her shoulder. I'm like, is Danny Rand going to be standing there with a fist? Like, I was kind of wondering what was up with Danny Rand. And yeah, dude, I mean, the Luke Cage stuff, I don't think a character fits better into the MCU than Luke Cage and Danny Rand. I think Jessica Jones is great, but unless we're getting some Purple Man arc, her Jewel Jessica Jones Alias series only goes so far. It's the weakest of all the source material.
Right.
It's great source material. Let me reframe that. It's great source material. It just doesn't have bigger picture arcs outside of like she has a big arc in Secret Invasion. Well, we did the Secret Invasion show and that's not happening anytime soon. She's got a great arc in all the Purple Man stuff. That's why I'm like the Purple Man children makes a lot of sense for the next step. And it would give a big threat that the whole city, because you've got to have something that the whole city is against that is quiet enough that the Avengers don't know about, but big enough that it requires all four of them teaming up. That to me feels like a good one.
True.
And it connects her. I think Isaac next season, she's probably going to be just like the fourth person in the lineup. And this was their chance to go, all right, Kristen, we're probably going to have to lean more heavy into what those two were doing while they were gone. So we're going to give you a few episodes here. We're going to give you your moment with Daredevil. And then next season, we're going to have you be background because everyone's going to want to watch Luke Cage get shot at and Danny Rand light up his fist. I really just think that could be part of it too.
Right.
So her being a mom too, I think is going to sideline her. And that's okay. That's what the comics do.
Right.
She says, I got to protect my daughter. And so I think that's how this needed to. So your criticism, I think, is fair. I just would also say I'm okay with it because of what I saw makes a lot of sense. She protected her daughter. She came in, said, I'm done. And I didn't like that she came in, then left. And it's like, oh, your powers aren't that good. And then we haven't addressed that. That's fair.
Right.
That's fair. My assumption is that's season 3 stuff.
And that's fair as well. Like everything that is continuing is always subject to like, I could watch season 3 and it all makes sense. And then I look back at season 2 and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, it was amazing. But right now it just doesn't sit well with me, I guess, how it was handled. I still, because Kristen Ritter is so perfect as Jessica Jones, I still enjoyed every minute of her in this show. Like, don't get me wrong. I still loved her.
No, but I think that's good feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've either got something planned or they just kind of built that up to get people hyped about it, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I want people to be hyped about Marvel stuff too. So I get it. But to me, it was like, it could have been handled a little differently. That would have been a little bit more satisfying, but that's a minor gripe. Like, I think overall the season was fantastic.
I push back against you, but maybe I'm aligning more than I'm saying. It's not a minor gripe if next season she's sidelined again.
That's true.
Because she was the strongest character outside of Daredevil
Right.
when Netflix had it because of what Purple Man did.
Right. I mean, the
They
Jessica
killed Purple
Jones
Man.
show on Netflix is fantastic. Like,
I mean,
it's
Isaac, do they go for it and bring Purple Man back?
that would be, oh man, that would
Can
be
Marvel
wild.
handle that? I don't know if Marvel can do it.
That's a pretty dark turn for the MCU. I feel like, I don't know.
There's a great episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers cartoon. It's on Disney, where Vision does like a restart of his system. Right? You know, your computer needs to restart every like 5 seconds to put new operating software into it. He does this, right? And he wakes up to the Avengers being the bad guys and the villains. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like fighting people. And he realizes the influence is because of the Purple Man. And the Purple Man takes over Tony Stark, who then spreads the influence using technology over the whole planet. That's beat for beat stealing that arc. But a similar arc in the future where the Avengers are the bad guys and the X-Men fight alongside them could be a really interesting Avengers versus X-Men arc.
And that would be really different too, because I mean, in that original Jessica Jones series, like Purple Man, I mean, he obviously is very powerful and he gets whatever he wants, but he doesn't really use it in that series to like achieve global means, right? Like he doesn't really have big picture goals when you think villains. He's still kind of like a small time, I don't know if you want to call him a crime boss really, but like he's still kind of staying in the shadows, like doing what he wants to do. But having him get like a big picture goal like that, that would be interesting. Because I feel like you could, I mean, what we were talking about with Wilson Fisk, like he's one of the greatest Daredevil villains. Where do you go from there? I mean, you got to get bigger, but you don't have to like get, you know, to space or anything. Because like, again, the Defenders are more of like a New York City street level type team. But yeah, I mean, something like that could be really cool where he gets, you know, influence over the Avengers or something like that. Yeah, I'm tracking with that.
Cool.
I think that'd be
give
cool.
him, make up a new one. Have him control Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
Give it like a big Midnight Suns arc. Like, I don't know. Give some ways for Purple Man to mess with people.
Have the Midnight Suns start out as bad guys because they're controlled by Purple Man. Ooh.
Yeah, or have them fight the Avengers, or I don't know. There's other ways to do it. And like Ghost Rider can't be affected, but everyone else can. You know, stuff like that. I think there's some cool stuff there. But
yeah,
no, I'm excited. I can't wait for season 3. I think this show is going to be great. We were talking pre-show, like, where do we rate this in the history of other shows? I think this is the best season of TV that Marvel has given out. My conflict on that would be She-Hulk, which I know is the minority of minority takes there. I love She-Hulk. I think it's great, and I know if somebody's listening to this, they just eye rolled and they're typing a comment right now. So it's okay. I get it. If you don't like it, cool. I loved it. I'm not explaining it to you.
And then there's the one guy that's like, wow, I really agree with that one thing that Max said, but I don't normally agree with him.
I despise when people say that. The other thing is, I think Loki season 2.
That's what I was going to say.
Could be comparable to this.
Right.
I would say this is my favorite season of Marvel television. I wasn't disappointed by a single episode. I think the theme of Daredevil and Matt Murdock laying down his literal and physical, he's already laid down his physical life. He already laid down his livelihood. Now he laid down his title. He laid down himself, literally and figuratively. The name of the episode is the Southern Cross, which is it's like this constellation visible in the southern hemisphere. It's a navigation way, right? It is literally this message of guidance. Physically is directing the people of New York City and essentially helping New York get back on track and in the correct direction. That is great storytelling, and that's what separates this season from others. And Loki does a similar thing in season 2 of Loki. So I think that for me is also why it's so powerful, is it's personal and it really hits home. And all these gripes we have with certain characters and arcs don't compare, because the main characters, the work has been done, and the show ends with a bang and with great cameos. It's all you need.
Loki season 2, the ending with him becoming, you know, the god of time or whatever, that was probably the best ending that we've had in Marvel television. That was so good. So I think I'd still maybe put that above this, but it's it's right there. It's very close. And I would even say Wonder Man is probably on this tier as well. Like Wonder Man was fantastic.
Loved Wonder Man. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's so small scale, which is great about it, but like it's hard to like compare it to these big superhero shows because it didn't
Sure.
feel like a superhero show. But like on the tier list of quality shows, I feel like it's right up there with those two. Those are my three. Like I might be able to interchange them just depending on how I feel, but those three, that's peak Marvel television right there. But the episode titles have been on point this season with Daredevil. So good.
I'm glad you say that. This season, the episode titles, that's the 6 of 6 too. Like, again, thematically, they're doing some pretty deep stuff. It really did feel like a return to form. Like,
right.
I read one review that said this earned the trust of the fans and the critics back. That's incredibly difficult to do.
After last season, yes.
Oh my gosh. They were so behind the 8 ball. I had given up.
Yeah, right. Like, I feel like all of us were, we enjoyed it for what it was. Like, there was still fun Daredevil stuff that was going on last season. But as a season overall, it just was a mess. And to come back and just rock everybody this season, I mean, that's hats off to Marvel. And Brad Windenbaum, I think, is the one running Marvel Television. Like, kudos to you guys. Like, that, fantastic. I'm just going to run through the names of this episode, of the episodes, just because I think they deserve a little bit of recognition. Episode 1, The Northern Star. Episode 2, Shoot the Moon.
Yeah, to start with the Northern Star, then to end with the Southern Cross.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Chef's kiss.
Amazing.
Chef's kiss.
3, The Scales and the Sword. All of these are like poetic too. They just sound wonderful. 4, Gloves Off. Perfect. Absolutely perfect title there. The Grand Design. I mean, we talked about that one probably the most out of every
best episode in the series,
season.
in my opinion.
Oh, so good. 6 was Requiem. 7 was The Hateful Darkness. You almost kind of like get the feeling like, man, these guys are really reaching. But then when I think about it, I'm like, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. And then the Southern Cross with the finale. But yeah, amazing episode titles. And that's something that I generally don't care about as like a TV viewer. I don't care what the episode is called. But like when it's so perfect like this, you gotta at least acknowledge it.
And they've set up the devil in Cell Block D, which is where they're going. So I think that should be the first episode title of season 4 or 3.
That would be awesome.
6, whatever they're calling it. Yeah, I'd bet a small fortune that title is in next season at some point.
I could see. Devil, I wonder, did they start it off with him getting out of jail in the first episode, or is that part of a significant part?
He's in there for a few episodes. Something's got to build, and someone's got to make a move.
At this point, I'm locked in either way. I feel like we all kind of felt a little wishy-washy at the end of last season. Like, yeah, we were still going to check it out, but we're dialed in now. We're locked in. We're ready for more.
Mullen,
tell us what you guys thought of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can check us out at the Infinity Bros across socials. You can email us at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com. Max, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great episode.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for listening to this episode. Good to see you guys.
You guys rock. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. We love you 3000. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.